Welcome to this presentation on place of supply in the context of model GST laws. Let us have a short introduction to know the importance of place of supply. GST is a destination-based tax as opposed to excise, VAT, service tax, etc., which are taxed at the source. Manufacture, completion of service, transfer of property in goods, etc. are very familiar terms which denote taxable events in our existing tax laws. Supply will be the taxable event in GST. The definition of supply is the same in both CGST and IGST acts. Please go through my video on meaning of supply to know more about this. We can find out whether we are liable for GST only if we know the meaning of supply, time of supply, value of supply, and place of supply. While the first three concepts have been adequately explained under the CGST Act, the place of supply is more important from the point of view of IGST Act. This is because place of supply influences the definition of intrastate and interstate supply of goods and services which are important for levying tax under IGST, and it clarifies whether a given transaction is subject to SGST, CGST or IGST. Section 5 of IGST Act deals with place of supply of goods. According to subsection 2 of section 5, if supply involves movement of goods, which can be by the supplier or recipient or any other person, then place of supply shall be the location of goods at the time of termination of movement of goods for delivery to the recipient. Now let us discuss those supplies which are made on the direction of a third party. According to subsection 2A of section 5, if before or during the movement of goods, supplier acting on direction of third person who may be an agent or otherwise deliver goods to recipient or any other person either by transfer of title of document or title or otherwise, then it shall be deemed that the third person has received the goods, and place of supply shall be the principal place of business of third person. Bill to, ship to, supplies, in transit sales, etc. are covered under this definition. For example, if I order an item in Flipkart which has Bangalore as my place of business and ask them to deliver the product to my relatives in Kolkata, the place of supply will be Bangalore in the state of Karnataka and not the state of West Bengal. There are certain transactions which do not require movement of goods. Subsection 3 of section 5 covers such supplies. When no movement of goods is required either by the supplier or by the recipient, place of supply is the location of goods at the time of delivery to the recipient. If a seller from Goa participates in an exhibition in Chennai where some buyers from Delhi come and purchase some goods, the supply will be deemed to be made in Chennai. This sale will attract CGST and SGST in the state of Tamil Nadu. It will not be an interstate sale, even though the buyer and the seller both are not from Tamil Nadu. This subsection would normally cover over-the-counter supplies of goods. A job worker making capital goods for the principal but using it himself for making goods for the principal will also attract this subsection, though job work is defined as a service. Some goods are not required to be removed for delivery. For example, machinery assembled at site. Subsection 4 of section 5 covers such supplies. Where the goods are assembled or installed at site, the place of supply shall be place of such installation or assembly. For example, if an industrialist of Nagpur places an order of installation of plant and machinery for his plant at Agra with a vendor in Mumbai, the place of supply will be Agra in the state of Uttar Pradesh. Now, let us discuss about two other types of supplies. Subsection 5 deals with supply on board a vehicle. When goods are supplied on board a conveyance such as a vessel, an aircraft, a train or a motor vehicle, the place of supply shall be the place at which they were taken on board. For example, meals supplied on board a Delhi-Bangalore flight will be deemed to have been supplied in Delhi if the items were taken on board at Delhi. Subsection 6 deals with residual supply of goods. When the place of supply of goods cannot be determined in terms of subsections 2, 3, 4 or 5, the same shall be determined by law made by the Parliament in accordance with the recommendation of the Council. It may be noted that like other matters, this matter has not been delegated to the Executive. It may also be noted that subsection 2A has been inadvertently omitted in this section. Let us have a quick recapitulation of place of supply of goods before we move on to the place of supply of services. Subsection 2 and 2a give us the rules for determining the place of delivery when goods are required to be moved. Subsection 3 and 4 contemplates situation where movement of removal is not required, like over-the-counter transactions, delivery in an assembled or installed position, etc. Subsection 5 covers a special case of supply while the recipient is moving, and subsection 6 specifies that if needed, Parliament will frame further rules regarding this subject on the recommendation of the GST Council. Now let us find out how the place of supply of services will be determined. It is rather difficult because there are no tangible articles involved. The correct location is based on the principle that GST is a destination-based consumption tax. Before we can proceed further to know the place of supply, we have to determine whether the supply is specifically covered under subsections 4 to 15 of section 6, in which case we have to follow the relevant subsections. If no, then we have to find whether the supply was made to a registered person. If yes, then the location of the registered person shall be the place of supply of services under subsection 2. If no, then we have to refer to subsection 3, which wants us to find out if there exists an address on record. If yes, then the location of the recipient shall be the place of supply. If not, it shall be the location of the supplier. For example, let us take the case of repair of a laptop of a person from Nagpur, which is done in Bangalore. If this person is either registered under GST laws or his address is held on record by us, then the place of supply will be Nagpur and IGST will be payable. However, if his address is not on record, then the place of supply will be Bangalore and CGST and SGST will be payable. We will now go through the service-specific provisions, taking them one by one. First, let us study 5 situations where it has been provided that if supply is made to a registered person, then the place of supply shall be his location. If the supply is not made to a registered person, then alternatives are provided in the respective subsections. Subsection 6 stipulates that for training and personnel services, place of service shall be location of actual performance for non-registered persons. For example, a training program is held for a group of employees of ABC Limited in Chennai by a training firm of Bangalore. If ABC Limited is registered, place of service will be Chennai, otherwise it will be Bangalore. Subsection 8 deals with organization of events. Place of service shall be the place where the event is actually held for non-registered persons. For example, ABC Limited organizes the National Convention of ICSI in Mumbai. If ICSI is registered person, then New Delhi will be the place of service, else Mumbai will be the place of service. Subsection 9 states that in case of transportation of goods, the place of service will be the place of loading the goods for a non-registered recipient. For example, Gati transports the personal belonging of Mr. A from Ahmedabad to Bangalore. The place of service will be Ahmedabad. However, if Mr. A is a registered person from Kolkata, then the place of service will be Kolkata. Subsection 10 stipulates that in case of passenger transportation, the place of service will be the place of embarkation for a non-registered recipient, provided that if the place of embarkation is not known at the time of issue of right of passage, the general provisions of subsection 2 and 3 will be applicable. Also, return journey will be treated as a separate journey. For example, VRL Mumbai provides bus service between Bangalore and Mumbai. Mr. A embarks from Bangalore for Mumbai. The place of service will be Bangalore. However, if Mr. A is a registered person from Kolkata, then the place of service will be Kolkata. Subsection 14 stipulates that in case of insurance services, place of service for an unregistered person shall be the address on the record of the service provider. For example, a car registered in Kolkata is insured in Bangalore by Mr. A. If Mr. A is a registered person from Chennai, the place of service will be Chennai. If he is not a registered person, then the place of service will be Kolkata. Now, let us consider these 5 services where the registration of recipient is immaterial for finding out the place of supply. Subsection 4 deals with supply of services in relation to an immovable property and includes boats and vessels. It is provided that in such cases, location or intended location of the property will be the place of supply. For example, place of supply for accommodation in houseboat will be Dal Lake in Srinagar, and for architectural services for a new building will be the site on which it is proposed to be constructed. Subsection 5 specifies that in case of restaurant, catering, personal grooming, fitness, beauty treatment, health services and others, the place of service shall be the location where the services are actually performed. For example, if a beautician of Chennai performs a treatment at Nagpur, the place of supply will be Nagpur and IGST will be payable at Chennai. Subsection 7 provides that for admission to social or educational events, place of supply shall be location of event venue. For example, Kochi will be the place of service for trade fair conducted in Kochi, irrespective of the fact of registration of its participants. Subsection 11 deals with on-board services. The place of service is deemed to be the first place of departure. For example, Indigo Airlines provides passenger services from Kochi to Dubai via Mumbai. The place of service for the on-board services will be Kochi, the first place of departure. According to subsection 15, the place of supply of advertisement services to the government, statutory bodies, local authorities, etc. shall be taken as located in each of such states based on dissemination. The remaining two services involve consideration of addresses of the recipient even though he is not registered. Subsection 12 deals with telecommunication services. Three situations have been envisaged by this subsection. Firstly, place of service of landline, lease circuits, internet lease circuits, cable or dish antenna will be the location in which it is installed. For example, a landline is installed in Varanasi, place of service will be Varanasi irrespective of registration status of place of payment. Secondly, for postpaid mobile connections, place of service will be the billing address on record of the service provider. For example, place of service of a postpaid mobile connection of Mumbai will be Mumbai, irrespective of the usage of the mobile in any other part of the country. Thirdly, for prepaid mobile connections, the place of service will be the place where such prepayment is received or such vouchers are sold. However, if the payment is done through electronic mode, place of service will be the location of recipient on record of the service provider. For example, if I recharge my prepaid mobile of Mumbai in Kolkata using vouchers, the place of service will be Kolkata, but if I recharge the same mobile using net banking, the place of service will be Mumbai. Subsection 13 states that if banking and other financial services, including stockbroking services, are linked to an account of the recipient of services, then the place of service shall be the location of the recipient of services on the records of the service provider. However, if no such accounts are linked, then the place of service shall be location of the service provider. For example, if I walk into Jammu branch of SBI and get a demand draft by paying cash, the location of supply will be Jammu. However, to get the demand draft, if I give them a check of my account with Patna branch of SBI, the location will be Patna. Subsection 4, 8 and 15 provide that in case the service is spread over more than one state, the contract shall be referred to find out the proportionate value of service for each state. In the absence of a contract, any other reasonable basis may be adopted as may be prescribed in this regard. Now, let us recapitulate the provisions relating to place of supply of service. Subsection 2, 6, 8, 9, 10 and 14 provide that location of the registered person will be deemed to be the place of supply if the recipient is a registered person. Else, except subsection 14, in other subsections, it is based on the place of performance. In subsections 4, 5, 7, 11 and 15, place of supply is based on place of performance irrespective of the registration status and address of the recipient. In subsection 3, 1, 12, 13 and 14, recipient's addresses like billing address, installation address, address on record etc. is deemed to be the place of supply. Only in subsections 3, 2 and 13, service provider's address is considered to be the place of supply. Your suggestions. What we have been discussing in this video is not yet the law of the land. In order to engage with the stakeholders, government has made available the draft model laws on GST in the public domain on 14th June 2016. The link is available in www.mygov.in. Do provide your suggestions and comments on the model GST law to the government. Your suggestions will go a long way in making the law vibrant, taxpayer-friendly, easy to administer, and free of litigations. Thank you very much for a patient hearing of this presentation. Do like the video to encourage. Do subscribe to my channel to stay updated on the happenings in GST. Thank you once again. Have a nice time.